And just like that, we're back. All right, the last game was basically the parting song of the Golos deck, which I have now shelved for the time being and gone back to the stable of more dependable decks. And just wanted to touch on my current record. So, as I mentioned before, way back on the 21st of May, I had to reinstall the client, which purged all of my games. And since then, I've been playing, well, you can see sporadically, quite a few games in May, not too many in June. Reasonable amount of games in July, and very few games in August. Just busy with tons of stuff, a lot of travel. And then I've been playing more just in the last couple of weeks or so. And yeah, I'm just trying different designs, different decks. And you can see right here the record. There's actually a game right here against this Hash 1 guy. It was a game where I accidentally joined his game, and I thought that I was able to quit before the game began, but apparently it just gave me a loss. So this record is actually 109-5, although technically this game right here against this Jasiri guy, he was going to win, and he conceded. So we'll just call the record 109-6. Pretty solid. Definitely the decks have been performing well, and the Golos deck was definitely winning its fair share of games. But again, like I said before, the games felt too fair and quite often a struggle, which is not something I'm particularly interested in. I definitely like to, I like coming back from behind, but I don't want the struggle to be just because I feel like I'm playing with an inferior commander. And that leads us to this game, which was played this afternoon. And this is one of those games where I was kind of seething about the result for several hours, just kind of running it over in my head. I definitely know, well, I'll let the game speak for itself. I don't want to actually commit to any spoilers here, but record's still really solid. 109-6 is like 96% win ratio so far. So definitely winning my fair share of games still, despite the fact that I've been experimenting with some decks. And so in this game, I'm up against TNC, kind of an interesting name. I don't think I've ever played this guy before. And he's playing Nicol Bolas, the Ravager, which I have seen a great deal of. This thing's pretty powerful. I mean, obviously a 4/4 flyer with an ability that comes into play is quite strong for a 4-mana commander. And if you're able to ultimate this guy, 7 mana to do it, this thing's flip Planeswalker form is really nuts. 9 loyalty, draw 2. It draws 2 cards a turn in addition to having a million other abilities. And its finale, I mean, obviously its ultimate is just lethal too, which you can ramp up to in, what is that, 3 turns? Yeah, in 3 turns. Well, on the 4th turn after Nicol Bolas is out, it basically kills your opponent. So pretty solid, actually. I mean, Grixis colors are not quite as good as Breya, but not a whole lot worse either. And this card may be worth experimenting with a little bit down the road. I don't really like the fact that it's just a 4/4 in its original form, but it does have that Ravenous Rat effect. I am playing the old staple standby Breya Ethereum Shaper with some changes based on the last few cards that have come out, or last few sets that have come out. Foremost among those, of course, is the card Fierce Guardianship, which I've been infinitely impressed by. The card is just totally insane and allows you to really extend onto the board with any blue commander and not really worry about the biggest range of things your opponents can do, just because there aren't too many creature-based responses that your opponent can do that really affect the game all that much. Like the closest things are creatures that remove your guys, or maybe something really hideous like Bane of Progress. But outside of that, most of the stuff that they do when you tap out is spell-based, and Fierce Guardianship just stops that cold. So really, really incredibly powerful addition to the arsenal of any blue commander, and yet another reason why blue commanders in Commander are the best. I'm going second this game, but this hand is perfectly fine. I've got a fetch land to go with the Divining Top. Even though I have no black at the moment, black will come. And yeah, Mystic Sanctuary, a little unfortunate to draw that early as my source of blue, but I'm completely fine to play this tapped. And let's kick it off. Yeah, I gotta put Breya up there. Fair warning, guys, this is a hell of a game, so sit back, buckle up, and get ready. There's going to be about 1 million decision trees along the way, and I'm probably going to be looking back and thinking about this game for weeks to come about things that might have happened differently. I definitely know. Well, I mean, I'll get to the main decisions when they arise later on. I've already checked the replay, and I believe it cooperates just fine. So hopefully, there's no additional bugs have arrived since I checked it. All right, so I get Duress on turn 1. And I think in his position, I think the obvious choice is the one that I can cast and most readily, and that's Jace the Mind Sculptor. And after thinking for a little while, he does indeed take that. It's funny to duress your opponent, and they have nothing but a fetch land, no other black sources, and a triple black enchantment in their hand. Oh man, Demonic Tutor, so good. All right, so I know I can't. I could fetch and play the tutor right now, but I decide that I'd rather kind of see what's on top of my library first, since I kind of want to play the Mystic Sanctuary right now. Not really in any hurry to play Demonic Tutor, and the kind of card that I'm probably going to go get with it relatively quickly would be something like the Chromatic Lantern, which will allow me to play Necropotence trivially off the top. And I see Enlightened Tutor and Mana Drain. Pretty nice. So I'm just going to play that. And move the mic away from the mouse a little bit so it's not so clicky. All right, and it just does nothing. So feeling pretty solid here. I'm just going to draw the Mana Drain and chill out. Unfortunately, the Wooded Foothills doesn't get a... I'm going to need to fetch a source of black, but hopefully between the reshuffle and the Divining Top, I'll be able to hit black or blue, depending. All right, so he's got Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith. It's got Scary. He put 5 mana into play in 1 turn there. That's okay. So end of turn, I'm just going to use the top again. So you can see, oh, that last card I think was a Thran Dynamo. So none of these are particularly good. Just going to throw them back and then just reshuffle. And there's the Triome right there, red, blue, and white. That's a recent addition as well. Nate has actually cut this, I believe, from his current version of Breya, but I love having a tri-land fetch. Just another volcanic island fetchable is really nice too, or a tundra, because often you run out of plains. And even though I have no black mana, and I can't really fetch it safely there because I'd rather sit on the Mana Drain, I'm confident that the top will deliver me to salvation. And lo and behold, Windswept Heath right off the top, and we are in business. Duretti's in there as well. His hand's looking really good now. Just make sure I draw the land right now. Fetching. Maybe that was a little impulsive. It may have been worthwhile to just wait a turn to see what he was going to do. But ultimately I decide, well, if he's got a counterspell, he's got a counterspell. It's okay for him to just... I'm just going to play this. And he has Counter Squall. You don't see this card too often. It's basically just a more expensive negate with a little added bonus. All right, I'm obviously not going to fight over it because he's got a million mana in play and terrible things could happen to me that involve Planeswalkers. So I'm just going to sit on the Mana Drain. I don't really need to fight over the Demonic Tutor that badly. I've got Divining Top, Fairy coming online pretty soon. I want to be able to sit on the Mana Drain anyway. Play Sulphur Falls. Ooh, Jace the Mind Sculptor. And I am rewarded for not Mana Draining and not fighting over the tutor. So he doesn't really have a play. He's only got 2 cards left in hand. So it's really just his commander I need to think about. I draw Badlands. That's really, really nice. So first things first, I'm going to use my top. Rainforest, Muddle, and Narset. Excellent. All right, well, there's the 3rd source of black mana. So definitely not going to be reshuffling anytime soon. I'm just leaving the Muddle the Mixture on top of my library. This allows me to play Teferi as well and to draw the Muddle. And I don't know, in retrospect, it may have, I really, really didn't want to shuffle away the black, but it may have made sense to actually, well, I guess I couldn't do that. I didn't have the ability to transmute the Muddle. But this does allow me to untap my lands here. So I'm fully figuring that I'm just going to have to discard probably the Muddle the Mixture when he plays his commander next turn, and then I can just draw that Misty Rainforest off the top, slam Necro, and pretty much seal the game. Because I've got Teferi out, I can deal with the dragon anyway. Well, let's see what he does. 3, 6. Whoa, what is happening here? Something huge. Oh, wow. Nicol Bolas, God Pharaoh. I've never actually faced this thing. But, yeah, Nicol Bolas deals 7 damage to target opponent, creature an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. So that dusts Teferi, unfortunately. Which I suppose is okay. Alright. I'll buy Teferi. Then he plays a Temple of Malice. There's the Rainforest. But the problem is now, he only has 1 card left in hand, and if I play Necro here, you can just like take a look at it. If I play Necro, he just has free reign with this thing. Each opponent exiles 2 cards from their hand. It's just brutal. I mean, it's at three mana right now. And looking at the situation, this is like the classic Golos versus Breya thing. One of the primary reasons I was talking in the previous video about why Breya is just better than Golos in almost every scenario is because of the fact that you can interact directly with your opponent's creatures, and more importantly with planeswalkers. Like, imagine if I just play Golos here. What on earth does that accomplish? I just play Golos, and my opponent has this completely insane planeswalker in play that he just runs away the game. He just runs away with the game with it, and he can still just play his commander and then flip that, and I'm basically just screwed. So, as much as I hate to do it, and I would really, really love to get Necro into play, and in retrospect, it may have been correct to just play Necro and just let him make me exile 2 cards from my hand and still keep 5, and then maybe I could deal with it. But I really, this is the spot to deal with this Nicol Bolas via my commander. And I still have both Breya and the Divining Top to deal with his dragon. I figure I'm just going to discard the Muddle and untap and play Necro and be fine, because he only has 1 card in hand. My opponent does some serious top decking in this game. You're about to see, I believe, the first of many, many insane top decks that are coming. All right, Thoughtseize. Ugh, after Duress is already in the graveyard. And even worse is that my Demonic Tutor is gone, so I can't muddle for Demonic Tutor and get Yawgmoth's Will or Seven's Reclamation to get it back. Fuck, there goes the Necropotence, which I was completely banking on, and now he's got his dragon to make me discard my last card as well. And I made a mistake here for sure. I should have drawn a card with the Divining Top, given the fact that the Muddle is just a route to so many important things. I just get so much stuff. I can go get, like Vandal Blast. Imagine being able to discard Vandal Blast over Muddle. I can Muddle and go get something like, what's the best card? Yeah, I could get Merchant Scroll into Mystical Teachings, which gets the Tutor Chain. And I could very quickly get Yawgmoth's Will or Seven's Reclamation and be right back in business while my opponent is still struggling. Of course, I'm going to have to deal with Nicol Bolas, the Ravager, for now. And now I've got this shitty Vandal Blast in my hand. But since he may be replaying his commander soon enough anyway, I decide to just get it out of my hand. I blow up the Grim Monolith. And I'm fine, content to just trade blows here. We'll see what he does. So he plays Soul Ring, and without even attacking, he just goes for the Transmute, and I can just completely time walk him here, which is quite nice. I'm going to look at the top 3. Deluge, Talisman, Verdant. Ugh. All right, well, Verdant's going on top, so I can reshuffle. And now I'm going to draw, use this little trick here. Draw with the top, and then sacrifice it, plus Breya, to kill off his commander. That puts both of our commanders back at the command zone. Unfortunately, he's drawn a Soul Ring, which is going to make his Nicol Bolas imminently castable for the foreseeable future. Goes from 4 to 6 to 8, and he's already got more than 8 mana in play, so I'm going to have to deal with it a bunch of times. Thankfully, Breya is up to the task, since she comes with her own Thopters. But I know my library sucks here. Obviously, I just play the Talisman just to get out of my hand. This is Breya versus Nicol Bolas. Imagine how screwed I would be with Golos here. Like, game completely over. He would just play his guy. I would have 1 turn to top deck and answer. I guess the top of my deck is the Deluge, which I guess ironically is an answer. But then he'd play it again, and then I'd have to draw another answer. And yeah, that would probably be game. You can't let him flip that thing over. All right. So I fully expect him to just replay his commander here, but nope. He's busy top decking even better things. Atali, Primal Storm. Lord. All right. Well, I know the top of my deck isn't too exciting. There's a Tithe. I'm just going to Tithe right now. Go get a Tundra. Again, I want to keep cards out of my hand here. And yeah, I'm not going to attack. I guess I could have attacked with both of the Thopters. It wouldn't really accomplish that much. I'm trying to just discourage him from attacking by not attacking with anything. I don't really need the 2 damage, and maybe he'll just hang back with a Tali and give me a little bit more flexibility to do something. But nope, he's not afraid. Tali charges in, and even though I reshuffled my deck with the Tithe, on top is fucking Toxic Deluge, which totally wrecks my plans completely, because I was going to just shrink the Atali down to a 2/2 by sacking the Thopters, block it with Breya, kill it, and then I could sack Breya and the Talisman to kill off his Nicol Bolas as well. But unfortunately, he gets more mana, and he has this Deluge at instant speed for 4, so that does at least allow me to kill off the Atali. But unfortunately, now he has the initiative, and this stupid thing comes down, and I have got no cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breya costs 8 mana. I need to draw land so bad right now. Ugh, god damn it. Alright, well, I did my best to stave off the Nicol Bolas, but his draws were just too strong. And he'd draw off my deck, obviously, with the Deluge. I'm just going to play this. And, yeah, I'm not really sure what I do now. Draw 2 cards. That would take it up to 9. I could hit it for 6. I guess I could hit it for 7. Plus, sack the Thopters and finish it off. I guess it's not that insane for him to do that, because it does take most of his turn to transform it. We'll see what he does. I fully intended him to just transform it here. But nope. He's got something even more insane off the top of his deck again. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Good lord. Could this guy just blank 1 turn and he does exile 4, which puts the Breya back on top of my library again, and kills, more importantly, it kills the Thopters. And drops that thing down to 3. Alright. Well, my Breya costs 10, and I'm 1 mana short of being able to play that. I hope I draw mana. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm just going to play that. And this, obviously, I'm just going to go get Workshop. This gives me the ability to play Breya and use Skull Clamp tokens next turn. But now he just has free reign to replay his guy and level up his Ugin. And it's just getting from bad to worse. God damn it. Obnixilis Reignited. I'm surprised that he did this over playing his commander. But I guess just having another card drawing engine plus removal in play. Double Planeswalker. Okay. Remand. Bit late, but at least thanks to the Workshop I can now play Breya. 10 mana Breya. So down comes Breya. What the hell is this? He's tapping mana in response. I figure it's Diabolic Edict or something, and it's nope, it's something very similar. Farika's Libation. I have a drink of my Breya's corpse. I gave some thought to just sacking Breya plus the Talisman here to shoot Ugin for 3, but I really realized that my long-term game plan has nothing to do with chipping away at things that just level up like crazy. I've got to just draw cards. It's really the only way out of this situation. So after thinking for a little while about sacking Breya, I decided not to do it. Now she's 12. But I do have 2 Thopters. I'm going to draw 4, because that certainly makes more mana. 3 land and a Dynamo. Well, it definitely did not disappoint in the land department. God damn it. I'm going to play Polluted Delta. At least I have lots of fodder to discard to his commander now. But yeah, this is a horrible situation. Obviously, 2 burly commanders, Obnixilis and Ugin, in play. Ugin bolts me down to 3, or down to 26. What now? Oh god, Nicol Bolas comes down. Alright, I can throw away the fetch land. Okay. Just tapping more mana. Talisman of Creativity. Okay. Well, he's got 1 card in hand, and I'm facing down 2 enormous Planeswalkers. This thing cannot ultimate. This thing really cannot ultimate either. It's going to be tough. So, end of turn, I thin my deck just to increase my chances of drawing something impactful. And I do have the Breya playback, but there's just too many things I need to deal with. Breya's 12 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I do have enough mana to play Breya and threaten to destroy the Nicol Bolas if he tries to transform it. But I top deck Sevin's Reclamation. All right, so this is an incredibly tough turn. There's so many different options. And I can play Thran Dynamo, and if I play the Dynamo, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so the Dynamo is out of the question. I can't play that right now because I need to keep 2 mana available to use Breya to stop the Nicol Bolas. But the problem is he can just destroy Breya in response to me with Obnixilis Reignited. And obviously the only thing I'm left to do really is use Breya to try to kill Nicol Bolas, and then he can transform Nicol Bolas in response. So this is not really a play. I can't really just play Breya here. So I'm thinking this turn through here. And I realized there's only really one option. This is obviously an insanely tough board to deal with. But my one chance here is I got to make the play to win play. So I'm going to let you guys think about what the play is here a little bit. What would you do in this situation? It's actually fairly straightforward, I suppose, just given the fact that the graveyard isn't really that exciting. But yeah, you can see me like thinking about tapping mana for Breya and then realizing there's just no way that works. So I'm going to Sevin's Reclamation for Necropotence, and I'm going to draw a hell of a lot of cards here. So the things I'm looking for right now are I'm looking for Mystical Teachings. I'm looking for Swords to Plowshares primarily. Impulse wouldn't be bad. Fact or Fiction. There's lots of good choices here. I basically need to get something that deals with... Hang on, stop. Okay, well, you can see me drawing cards. I was resolving these one at a time, of course, because I would rather cast instants instead of discarding. First card off the deck was Swords to Plowshares, so that deals at least with one threat. And since I'd rather not have to discard, I'm just going to play it right now rather than waiting for him to bash me in the face for 4 and then time walking him with the Plowshares. Winter Orb's really, really good if I'm able to deal with these things. And Disenchant's interesting. Okay, well, that's good. I can cast that too. Mind Twist, not real useful. Land, Mana Vault, Copy Artifact, Duretti, that's good. Mana Crypt, also good. Factor Friction, and final card. All right, so now I'm going to just disenchant that thing. No counter spells other than the Remand, but I'm feeling a little better about this. So this is a really, really tough turn here. What the hell do I hold? So looking at my hand, it seems to me that the most important cards of all are Remand, Winter Orb, Duretti, Factor Fiction, probably Copy Artifact, and probably one land. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which leaves one more card. It can be Relic, Mind Twist, another land, Mana Vault, or Mana Crypt. And I think about this for a long time, and I decide, well, I've got so much mana in play, I'm going to be able to Copy Artifact on Thran Dynamo next turn anyway, and I can't really see like a use for a boatload of colorless mana right now. It doesn't really do all that much. So with that, other than just allowing me to cast Breya a little bit earlier, but Mana Crypt already kind of does that anyway. And my next turn is going to have to be spent dealing with Obnixilis, since this thing can't ultimate. Even though I don't draw cards with Necro, my opponent will draw cards and make me die very fast. So with that in mind, I ultimately decide that I will keep Remand, Winter Orb, Strip Mine, Copy Artifact, Duretti, Mana Crypt, and Factor Fiction as my 7. And I think one land. Oh, no, it's Strip Mine, right? So I'm going to discard Relic, Mind Twist, Scalding Tarn, Mana Vault, and Bloodstained Mire. So remember that decision. That may matter later. You can see me clicking on them here, figuring it out. Those 5 go away. I just don't see a use for a Mind Twist with my opponent only having one card in hand. All right. Gotta somehow just fade the end of the world this turn. He goes to 21, bolts me down to 9. That's acceptable. Plays Portent. Strange. And he's doing it to himself rather than to me. So he's playing some more stuff. What's coming now? The Scarab God. All right, so he's got 4 mana available here, and I will fully admit here to making an egregious mistake. So I looked at Scarab God when he played it, and I thought, well, okay, I suppose I could remand this. He hasn't played a land yet, but I don't really know what this 4 mana playback here is, and if it's something like, I don't know, Fiery Confluence or another Planeswalker or anything, there's such a wide range of things that are just utterly devastating. So I decide I'm going to just Factor Fiction in response first. Make him think that I need a counterspell. Plus, I've just drawn almost no counterspells this game, just the Mana Drain and the Muddle. Let's see what it yields. Confidant, Impulse, Mystical Tutor, Mox Diamond, and Mana Confluence. This is obviously the key right here, because Mystical Tutor is Yawgmoth's Will, which I have been patiently waiting for a long time. We're now about halfway through the deck. So once I see that I've got access to Yawgmoth's Will no matter what he does, I know that I've got Swords to Plowshares coming, and I can deal with the Scarab God that way. So with that in mind, I decide that it's more important to protect my hand and the board state with the Remand, since he's fairly low on mana, and just simply Plowshare the Scarab God when I cast Yawgmoth's Will. And the Yawgmoth's Will should allow me to chain into a sequence of effects that can deal with both of these Planeswalkers. So as soon as I see this, I feel like I have a really good shot at winning the game. So he's done some splitty stuff. And he ultimately splits this in a way that's actually super perfect for me because it's mana plus Mystical Tutor. I don't care about either of these cards. That's ideal. And so I let the Scarab God resolve. And completely ignoring that stupid exile ability, which normally wouldn't matter, but he's got a creature in the graveyard. And not just any creature, but a creature that I can't allow to attack me. Sigh. I'm going to be kicking myself over this oversight. I should have remanded this. Clearly, I should have just done it. He only has one card in hand. The range of things he can do are really, really minor. And, yeah. Anyway. Can't really do much else. So, end of turn, of course, I'm just going to Mystical Tutor here. You can see what's left of the deck. Quite a few choices still. This is a card that I added recently just to up the artifact count. Nate was really advocating for that. I put Treachery back in. Treachery would have been, of course, an incredible card to get right now to deal with the Scarab God or to deal with his commander. But no, of course, I'm just getting Yawgmoth's Will. All right. Look at how much mana I have. Like, how many things could I possibly... How much mana could I possibly need to do what I'm going to do this turn? So, start off by playing the Mox Diamond, throwing away Mana Confluence. Yeah. And I play Strip Mine, and I don't know, I mean, I guess if I had been a little bit more patient and had really, really, really thought this turn through, and I did think about the turn for hours, I would have realized that I could not afford to Strip Mine here. Or I should have kept the Mana Vault or something, because watch what happens. So I Strip Mine him here, and the reason I'm doing this, of course, is to keep him off of 2 blue, so in case he drew, he either had a counterspell or he drew one off the Portent, he wouldn't be able to play it to stop me and make me screw around with Remand when I try to cast Yawgmoth's Will. And he pays 4 mana, and I'm thinking, what the hell is this? Fact or Fiction? And then it's this. Oh no. He gets a copy of Atali. And suddenly there's 2 creatures in play instead of just 1. And this completely changes everything because I actually did have enough mana to kind of to do everything that I was planning on doing. But now I have to Deluge instead of Plowshares, which is 2 extra mana. And that is going to matter big time. So I play my Crypt. Copy Artifact on Thran Dynamo, because that actually makes mana. I start tapping stuff. I actually have to play Duretti here, because I have to make a creature and then clamp the creature to draw the Yawgmoth's Will that I got. So I'm doing that. So silly. All right, so I get Narset underneath the Yawgmoth's Will. Narset obviously doesn't do much. 2 generic floating. Time to cast Will. So can't just Plowshare Scarab God now since this stupid thing's in play, and obviously I can't allow it to attack. So I have to Deluge at the cost of 5 life and way more mana than I intended to spend. Oops, careful I do that. Yeah, I'm just going to cast the top off there. There's the Deluge for 5. Those things die. Oh, I skipped ahead the turn. Okay, so I can't make this thing stop, damn it. Well, it's a bit anticlimactic, unfortunately. This whole turn was set up. I'll just talk you through it. God, just the stupid resizing of these buttons. So what I had to do there was I replayed the Divining Top after I cast the Will, which I drew off the 2 cards I got from clamping Duretti's token. That allowed me to cast Mystical Tutor from the graveyard to get Vindicate. I vindicated away the Deadly Ugin the Spirit Dragon since I can't afford to have it wipe my Planeswalkers off the board. And after that, I had 2 generic artifact mana and only 4 total mana floating. 2 generic perfect for the Winter Orb to lock him out of the game, but only 4 mana when I needed 5 to be able to play Teferi. If I have 5 mana, I can play Teferi and I can put a Nixilis 3 down from the top, and then he's basically screwed. I'm at 4, which is fine, but I have the ability to sacrifice Duretti, sacrifice the Mana Crypt to kill off one of his mana artifacts, and I have Teferi in play, sitting on Remand. I can build up to play Breya, and then once I play Breya, it's off to the races. I can sit there and gain life and start drawing cards again off Necro and win the game trivially. And unfortunately, because I Strip Mined when I didn't think the mana through, and because I threw away that Mana Vault thinking I wouldn't need, like manas 15, 16, and 17 or whatever, I was 1 mana short of being able to make this critical play to put the Teferi in play and had to play Jace instead. You notice I'm fully tapped out. And I got to just cross my fingers here and hope that he does not ultimate his Ob Nixilis. That he gets greedy or something. You know, maybe he doesn't recognize that he can do it. But nope, he does the right thing, and now I've got this hideous emblem on me. The good news is I don't have to draw with Necro. The bad news is I have Jace in play, and my opponent has a draw step of his own, and he just passes. So I gotta hope the Crypt doesn't hit me this turn. And it does. Damn. I mean, I could have still actually won this game if the Crypt hadn't hurt me, because I would have been able to untap enough things to actually get Breya online and start gaining life. I couldn't use Jace, of course, but there's nothing I can do to stop my opponent's draw step. I can't gain life, and with that in mind, after thinking for a long time, God, how much mana do I have here? 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I'm just 1 mana short of being able to play Breya. So sad. So sad. I sit there and look and look and look and think, what can I do here? What can I do? I have got a Sevin's Reclamation. He actually has a mana drain too. Not that it really particularly matters. But that's it. There weren't even really any targets to get in the graveyard anyway, short of like Dark Confidant that I could just clamp. But I can't clamp anyway. I can't draw cards because of Ob Nixilis. And that is the game. A super epic game. I would have loved to have won this game. There were just those 2 decisions at the end. Not remanding the stupid Scarab God was instrumental. It prevented me from having enough mana. And both the Strip Mine and the Mana Vault not calculating to have exactly enough mana to do everything, and being 1 mana short of pulling out would have been just a miracle game from a dire situation. So hopefully it's a lesson you guys can take away, that every single point of mana can matter, even when you've got a billion mana in play. You got to really think everything through. I think I played many parts of this game extremely well, and then just sort of stumbled at the last minute to lose it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I do lose some games. There are 6 losses on that chart for a reason, and this happened to be one of them. It was an epic match, and I hope to rematch Mr. TNC in the future, and hopefully it leads to another great game. See you guys soon.